Hello, people of the internet, Ninja Nick. We are back with round 2 of the Pokemon Trading Card Game 2023 World Championships. We've got Miguel Lopez here on the left versus Shintaro Ito, a world champion himself, here on the right. And looks like we have a Fusion Strike Mew by the Elisa Sparkle here on the left. And looks like maybe Chien-Pao usually plays Cross Switchers, Water Energy, and Bibarel. So that would make sense that that would be what Shintaro is playing. Again, both of these decks, like in the last round, I said a lot of people were playing Lugia at day 1 of Worlds because of its less likelihood to tie, the way that you would be able to play a full 3 games, unlike decks like Lost Box or Gardevoir, which usually have very, very long games due to its plethora of actions that it does. Refinement, discard a card, draw 2, Super Rod, shuffle in multiple energy cards, etc. And it looks like they shut the light off as well, so nice to see that they're playing in the dark. Okay, here comes the lights. So, looks like Miguel starts with 2 Pokemon in play. Is very surprising to me. If you're going second in the current format, unless you want to like put Spiritomb on your bench to prevent your opponent from maybe playing the like a Luminion or something, you really don't want to start any Pokemon on your bench, because if your opponent turn 1 escape ropes you, now that Pokemon that you wanted on your bench is now going to go into the active spot. So I really do not like that from Miguel here. I think he should have just started the Meloetta and kept the Genesect in his hand. There is no way in the current format that you can play a supporter like Judge or Ino on turn 1 to put that Pokemon back into your deck and then risk not drawing into another one. So There's really no reason that Genesect should be there, and it is a liability if an escape rope does come into play. And I feel like that is pretty much like common knowledge at this point. It's been like that ever since Sword and Shield base set, that you can't play a supporter card on turn 1. And Escape Rope has been in format for many years. They just keep reprinting it. So it is something you should definitely be aware of. And definitely something that quite a few decks in the format do play, like Arceus. So we are going to see Shintaro is playing that Chien-Pao deck. He starts with the Frigibax. It evolves into the Stage 2 Baxcalibur, which allows you to use its Super Cold ability to attach as many water energies from your hand to your Pokemon as you'd like. So normally you can only attach 1 energy from hand every turn, just a draw and a pass. A completely unplayable hand. We have 2 Mew VMAXs, like a power tablet. Yeah, usually this Mew VMAX deck likes to get a whole bunch of Pokemon onto the bench with those Battle VIP passes, and then it can draw cards equal to the amount of Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, or draw up to that amount. So if you have, say, 2 cards in hand and 5 Fusion Strike Pokemon, you would draw 3. So normally you have like 2 to 4 Genesects in play, so you could do it multiple times in a turn. And Shintaro was able to also get his Battle VIP passes going, and you love to see that Yokohama competitor hat. That is a really sweet hat. I love the navy color, and of course Ramen Pikachu is really cute as well. A Pikachu after my own heart there. So Shintaro is using Radiant Greninja's concealed cards to discard energy and draw 2. And we were able to, it looks like, I think, retreat into the Chien-Pao. You can use that Chien-Pao's ability, Shivery Chill, to look through your deck and put 2 water energies into your hand once per turn. So a very fantastic combination there. Looks like we're also going to Ultra Ball for the Arceus V-Star. This deck does play a 1/1 Arceus V-Star line just for that Starbirth V-Star power to search your deck for 2 cards. So likely, probably going to be either Rare Candy and Baxcalibur, or he's going to find Irida and another card, and then use the Irida for the... and then use the Irida to find the Rare Candy Baxcalibur. So Irida says you can search your deck for 1 water Pokemon and 1 item card. So Yeah, it looks like we're going to search the Irida with the Arceus, and then what else? Maybe, looks like he's considering a Water Energy. He does have a Superior Energy Retrieval in hand. It says you can discard 2 cards to get up to 4 energy cards from your discard pile back into your hand, except for the cards that you discard with it. So if you do discard energy cards, and say there's only 3 energies in your discard pile, and you're discarding 1 for use of the Superior Energy Retrieval, you cannot get back 4 energy because one of those was one of the ones that you discarded for that card's effect. Looks like we do use that Irida to get the rare candy Baxcalibur, and now we're going to use the Superior Energy Retrieval, and we're going to discard 2 cards. Looks like another Bidoof as well as the Chien-Pao here to get back 4 water energies were already in the discard pile. So we do have 5 in the hand already. Looks like we're going to spread that around to some of our other Pokemon and evolve into Bibarel in order to draw until we have 5 cards in our hand. And it looks like maybe there's a discussion on whether or not maybe Miguel cut the deck or something yet. Or maybe Shintaro didn't sufficiently shuffle yet. Players that do come from Japan do generally insufficiently shuffle compared to what the our rules are in the TPCI lands, as I call them. The Asian regions generally do what I call the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shuffle, where they just kind of cut the deck repeatedly instead of actually mashing it together multiple times. So maybe Shintaro either didn't shuffle his deck yet, or he just did an insufficient shuffle. So we are going to put even more energies onto the Arceus V-Star as well, and then take the knockout on the Meloetta using the 2 energies on the Chien-Pao. And now the only way that Mew can really attack this turn is if it had another Meloetta, and they usually only play 1 now. So with just a Genesect in play and no Mews to evolve into the Mew VMAX, there's not going to be an attack that turn. So even if he did bench any more Pokemon, if he had the ability to find them, Shintaro would just be able to get another free attack off in the next turn using Shivery Chill to search 2 water energies out of his deck yet again. He could just attach those to the Chien-Pao and then discard those energies as well as a couple off of the Arceus that's already attached to the Arceus on the bench in order to take that knockout. So yeah, that was a game. I was told to prepare for this game specifically, so I'm not quite sure what's going to be happening in games 2 and potentially 3 if there is a game 3. But yeah, I was asked today. I was like earlier today while I was playing a league challenge. By the way, just hit my challenge cap, so now I'm gonna have to start replacing challenge finishes. You love to see it, but. I was told, did you see round 2 with the Mew deck? And I said no. He's like, oh, you're going to love it. Go home and watch it. So here we are. I did miss the first 2 rounds of this, and I kind of was watching the other rounds in the background. I was grinding those Blissey Terra raids, trying to stock up on some Terra crystals in Pokemon Violet, because I do like to help my friends build VGC teams from time to time. Because I just have a wealth of resources in the game. I have like a living dex basically. I am short a couple of Pokemon. Like I never finished the Sword and Shield DLC, and by that I mean I don't have the 2 horse dudes or Regieleki and Regidrago. I missed the Zarude event somehow because I never got the email from it, and I don't. And then I completed the Pokedex in Violet, but I don't have a living dex yet, because I think some of them I just caught and evolved. So, like, I like to have a living dex where you have, like, 1 of every Pokemon ever. So you have a Bulbasaur, you have an Ivysaur, and you have a Venusaur, etc., etc. So, like, I noticed somehow I didn't have Overquill, so I had to evolve one of my Hisuian Quillfish the other night in order to do that. So Looks like we are going to go first for the Mew. We do get a Nest Ball. Maybe we will actually be able to see a game this time. Here's hoping. I mean, I had an Overquill, but I must have, like, released it. Because in Legends Arceus, you just have so many Pokemon that, like, you just have to clear out your boxes all the time. At least they give you resources for it to power up your Pokemon, but still. So it looks like we do get the Genesect, and we have the Forest Sealstone in the hand, so we will be able to use that to find a Battle VIP Pass on this first turn to start filling the bench with more Genesects and Mews. We also have the Ice Cube in the hand we could always bench as well. That's another Fusion Strike Pokemon. It is really there only for bench sniping in certain matchups. So that might be able to snipe some of those Frigibacks out of the game. Or Baxcaliburs even, but we did see a discard of a Fusion Strike energy here, so it's not going to be likely that we will be able to see any Baxcaliburs going down. Probably just Frigibacks on the bench, or maybe a Bibarel. Let's see, the Ice Cube does 40 damage times the amount of Fusion Strike on your Pokemon in play. Fusion Strike energy, so 40, 80. So yeah, maxes out at 160, which is enough to knock out a Baxcalibur, so you could knock out a Bibarel in one hit with it if you have the remaining 3. So we do get a Double Turbo and Choice Belt onto the Mew. We've looks like we haven't used the Forest Sealstone yet. We have plenty of Pokemon in play. We're going to use those abilities first so that maybe we can save the Forest Sealstone. And yeah, it would not be worth it to use that Forest Sealstone just yet. You wouldn't want to, like, say, search for a Battle VIP Pass just to get one Pokemon. That wouldn't really be worth it. And it's very unlikely to see an attack from Chien-Pao on turn 1 just because you need that back. You need 2 energies on your Chien-Pao in order to attack. And if generally you can charge it up in one turn if you have a Baxcalibur, but of course you can't evolve on your first turn of the game or the turn a Pokemon comes into play. So we will not be able to see a Baxcalibur this turn. We'll only see 1 Water Energy attachment at the most. So it looks like we are going to Battle VIP Pass again. Looks like we are looking at the Arceus V as well as the Radiant Greninja, the 2 best things to get off your first Battle VIP Pass, so long as you did not prize your Arceus V-Star. So I would assume that since that's on the bench, we would most likely see a Starbirth maybe on the next turn, hopefully. So we are going to also Irida here. That will allow us to search our deck for an item card and a water Pokemon. We could find the Baxcalibur for next turn. Oh, it looks like we haven't found the Radiant Greninja yet. We actually went for the Chien-Pao instead. So yeah, definitely the Radiant Greninja, and we're going to go for a Battle VIP Pass as well. So, Radiant Greninja goes to hand. We're using the Battle VIP Pass. Basically, double Nest Ball, but only on turn 1. We're going to get a second Frigibax. Makes sense. In case the first one more than likely goes down, we will be able to have a second one here on the bench. And we're just deciding what we want as our other Pokemon. You could always just get another, yet another Frigibax, have all 3 onto the bench as long as you didn't prize one, or you could just get a second Chien-Pao. You could always use switching cards like the Cross Switcher or just regular Switch Escape Rope in order to use both the Shivery Chills in the same turn, being able to search your deck for 4 energy cards. So that would be pretty fantastic. So we do see the hard retreat into the Chien-Pao. We are playing that 60 HP Frigibax, which is a liability against Lost Box, but the 1 retreat cost really does allow you to do quite a lot. So we are going to be able to search our deck for 2 water energy cards this turn because of that retreat. And of course, the Mew deck could just one-shot that Chien-Pao and go ahead in the prize trade for 2 prizes. But will they be able to get to that? I think it's likely. All that they need is a Mew VMAX and a switching card, which is not a lot to ask for from the Mew VMAX deck, because their Mew is already powered up. It would also be nice to get another Mew V onto the bench as well. In case this first Mew VMAX goes down, you'll have the potential to have another one set up on the next turn. And it looks like we have a dead hand. We have 5 cards in hand and can't really do much of anything with any of them. We're going to go for a Boss's Orders on the Arceus. Does not make much sense to me. We could have gone for the Judge, so that we could have found a switching card to go into the Mew VMAX, then use the ability of the Genesect to draw more cards. It's very important to note that we did have that rule change where tool cards are no longer item cards, so those cannot be discarded for the effect of Cram-O-Matic. Cram-O-Matic says discard an item card, flip a coin, if heads, search your deck for any card and put it in your hand. Yeah, I think that just going for the... Well, I guess going for the Arceus knockout is better because that can potentially cripple your opponent's setup because they are relying on that Starbirth. But you really have to find a way to take this knockout this turn here. So you are going to have to use the Forest Seal Stone, unnecessarily turning the Forest Seal Stone. I don't think you need to do that. You can just flip your V-Star marker. Search your deck for any one card. So that should just be the switching card to move the Mew out of the active, or Mew into the active spot here. But we're gonna go for a Fusion Strike energy instead. Yeah, no, that wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, no, we definitely go for a switch card here. Oh, but it looks like there's none in the deck. There's no switch cards in the deck whatsoever? No, there's an escape rope. I see an escape rope. Yeah, so he could have done the Forest Seal Stone first to find the escape rope, then played Boss's Orders, and then we would be in the same position to where the Mew VMAX would be in the active, and then the Arceus would still be as well. But no, we're going to search for the Fusion Strike energy to retreat. Yeah, that I'm not sure that I agree with this line of play at all. That seems like a waste of resources because it would be really great to copy Melodious Echo at some point in the future. It would allow you to do 210 damage and still be able to attack with the same Mew VMAX on the next turn. Because if you copy Techno Blast from the Genesect, you cannot attack on the next turn. So we're going to have to see double switching cards here in order for the Mew to go onto the bench, resetting the effects on that Pokemon, and then bringing it back into the active spot. So well, no, just one, because you can retreat the Mew. It has free retreat, and then you'd have to switch the Genesect out of the active, so... Shintaro's hand is shaking a little bit. I think he's getting excited because he knows he can win the game. Or maybe it's just nerves. Yeah, he has an Irida, so yeah, this should be very favored for him right now. He can use the Shivery Chill if he has not already to search his deck for 2 water energies. He's got a superior energy retrieval to get the at least 1 water energy that's in the discard pile back if he really had to. He has the Irida for the rare candy Baxcalibur at the very least to get that into the play. At worst, he could just hit into this Mew VMAX, and he knows that it's going to be a little bit hard for his opponent to be able to reset that attack. So you might just be able to 2-shot the Mew VMAX as well. Although I wouldn't risk it. I would just go for the full 1-shot because your opponent could always just bench another Mew V on the next turn and then get the switching card. And then you're in an unfavored position. So we go rare candy Baxcalibur here. Skipping that stage 1 Arctibax. Although back in the day, Blastoise decks, which were very similar to this Blastoise Keldeo, did actually play 1 Wartortle most of the time. So I am a little bit surprised that we don't see Arctibax in more lists. But it is hard to find the room for it, and there's just a lot better cards, like we do have Irida to just search for the rare candy. Seems a little bit unnecessary, but there are times where it could work. So we are going to go for the Shivery Chill, searching our deck for 2 water energy cards to put into our hand. And in order to take the knockout here, we should need 6 energies. We do 60 damage times the amount of energies that we discard from our Pokemon, specifically basic water energy cards. So if we have 6, that is 360 damage. If we only had 5, we are 10 damage short, because Mew VMAX does have 310 HP. So we are going to use a Baxcalibur. And we are going to just hit for 4 energies. Not too bad of a hit. We could have used the superior energy retrieval that was in hand to get 2 more energies into hand and then taken the full knockout. So maybe there isn't a superior in hand, or he just wants to conserve the other cards that are in his hand that he doesn't want to discard. Yeah, no, I must have been wrong, because I don't see it in hand now. I see a cross switcher. Maybe that's what I thought it was. So we have a switch cart, so we should just be able to retreat and then play the switch cart. That would put the Mew VMAX back into the active spot. And we did get the Mew V down onto the bench, so exactly as I said. We could also try to go for a Psychic Leap this turn. If we had gone for the save of that boss's orders on the last turn and just knocked out the Chien-Pao in the active instead, we could have the boss's orders this turn to be able to bring up that Frigibax and Psychic Leap the Mew back into the deck and knock out that Pokemon at the same time. You would just need 1 power tablet in order to really do that, because you are reducing your damage by 20 right now. So you do 70 with the Psychic Leap from the Mew V on your bench would be 50. So if you play 1 power tablet, that's 80, 20 more than you need to knock out the Frigibax. So looks like we are gonna go for the Judge here. Both players shuffle their hands into the deck and draw 4 new cards. So, Shintaro did have he didn't really have that many cards in hand. So, the Judge doesn't seem super necessary, but, I mean, his hand was a little bit clogged with some suboptimal cards. Cards that can't just be played out. He could have gone for the Elisa Sparkle, though, and try to load up the Meloetta on his bench, but of course he already wasted one of those retreating, so that could have still been in the deck for use this turn. He also did he retreat and switch cart yet? He had to have, right? Because I don't see it in his hand anymore. I guess I just missed that. It must have... Sometimes they just, like, stop showing the game and start doing, like, these action shots for some reason. Which do look good at Worlds, specifically, but usually at Internationals, they look awful. So we're going to go for yet another Genesect. We're going to be able to draw, what, 2 cards? Redraws into another Judge. We do have Cramomatic. We could discard the Ultra Ball to try to find a card as well. We've played 1 Power Tablet. So that's going to boost our damage. We were already at where we... Oh, no. We did need the Power Tablet because the Choice Belt does not add damage when you are attacking a Pokemon EX. It only works on Pokemon V and Pokemon GX. Oh, actually, the reprint of Choice Belt doesn't have... It doesn't say Pokemon GX. Didn't Choice Belt say both before? Or am I wrong? I could be entirely wrong. I'm gonna have to look that up later. It's not important. It's not relevant to the game in progress right now. So we use the Hisuian Heavy Ball to search our prize cards for a Bidoof. And we're going to put those other prize cards back with the Heavy Ball as the replacement. I love Heavy Ball. I think it's my favorite card in format. I really do try to fit it into my decks whenever I can, just because of exactly how good it is. Also, do you guys like my water bottle? Stay hydrated, guys. This is what I bring when I go to that one locals where it's really hot and sweaty, and they do like best of 3 5-round league challenge with one air conditioner for the whole building with a fan, and none of them work. Next time I go there, I'm gonna need like 2 of these water bottles. But it looks like we are loading up the Radiant Greninja here. Shintaro realizing that he is able to actually take the knockout on the active Pokemon with the Moonlight Shuriken of the Greninja, doing 90 to 2 Pokemon on the opponent's board. So he can actually knock out the Meloetta on the bench and the Mew VMAX in the active, taking 4 prize cards and tying the game up. And then Miguel will still be able to potentially win. All that he needs is a boss's orders, the Mew VMAX, and a power tablet, I believe. Which should not be too hard for him to find. And then we should be going to a game 3. So let's see if we get there. We do have an escape rope. We do have the Cramomatic that will allow us to find one of those cards we need. We have Path and a Lost Vacuum. That can thin the hand out more, as well as that Ultra Ball. But the Ultra Ball might be the thing he needs to discard for the Cramomatic. But it is better to just guarantee the Mew VMAX here. So we need... Oh, and actually we need double Turbo Energy as well. I thought that's what was on the Mew, but it was just another Forest Seal Stone. Yeah, so we're going to need double Turbo. Double Turbo. We got the Mew VMAX, and we need Power Tablet. So can we get there? Can we thin the hand enough and draw enough cards to get to exactly where we need to be? Knowing the Mew VMAX deck, we should be able to easily go for it. We could discard the Lost Vacuum for the Cramomatic, but that does seem a little bit risky. Yeah, I think you go for the... Yeah, you definitely Cramomatic away the escape rope here. Oh yeah, and we also need to play the boss. Yeah, that's true. So we played the boss. We're going to be 1 card short of being able to play the Lost Vacuum. So I think you... This is a tough choice. So you could play the Path to the Peak, then Lost Vacuum it away, getting rid of the escape rope, keep the... No, you play those cards out first, for sure. You don't just draw 1 card. Yeah, no, I would have played those cards out. You could have had a hand of just 1 Cramomatic and then drawn until you had 5 cards in your hand. So that's definitely a mistake here. And now he's going to go for it. So now he's going to Lost Vacuum that, getting rid of a Cramomatic as well. Yeah, he could have played the escape. He could have retreated, played the escape rope. Or no, he can't because he played the boss. So he should have done that first before the boss. He does get the power tablet, but he doesn't have the double turbo energy. Does he have another item he can get rid of? Yes, it is that escape rope. So if he flips heads, he wins this game. He flipped tails. Okay, so now you play the power tablet, you use your last Genesect, and just hope that you draw into it. Yeah, I think that first Genesect was definitely a waste. Okay, still didn't get it, but he got an Ultra Ball. You could potentially Ultra Ball for the last Genesect if that is in your deck. Discarding a couple more cards, then you'd be able to draw until you have 6. I definitely think you have to go for it this turn, otherwise your opponent will win the game. It is highly likely. There is at least 2 double turbo energies in the deck, And there might even be another cram as well. So you could always just draw another cram and then flip heads that time. Yeah, Shintaro seems pretty pleased with himself here. All right, can we do it? No, we draw a Fusion Strike energy though. So had we not used the Fusion Strike energy to retreat before, we should have been able to Elisa Sparkle that previous turn. We would have that energy on the Mew. We could have attached this other one for turn to it and then have the attack. So we could have potentially have gotten there had we just played a little more optimally earlier in the game. And now what? I think here you just retreat into the Ice Cube and pass. And hope your opponent doesn't have boss's orders or double cross switcher. We're also going to attach to it. I think that's a little irrelevant. I think you should attach to your Mew. Because you're only down 2 Fusion Strike energies. I'm not sure why you're just not utilizing your Fusion Strike energies effectively. Like, you would be playing Mew specifically for the Fusion Strike energies. So it looks like we are going to Ultra Ball probably for second Bidoof. Or second Bibarel, probably. He does identify that there is a cross switcher left in his deck. Looks like we are going to fail. There is no Pokemon in there that we want to get. We are going to use the Irida to grab the Chien-Pao and the cross switcher. We're gonna shuffle our deck here. I think he just has it at this point. He did use that Ultra Ball just to check his deck to make sure that he had what he needed in there. He is going to bring up a Genesect with the cross switcher, retreat, and then use the 4 energies already on the Chien-Pao to take the knockout and win. Game number 2, Shintaro Ito winning both games very convincingly. And yeah, I definitely think that that second game was a throw. Like, obviously, game 1, the player on the left had no way to win. It was correct for him to scoop when he did, of course. But Shintaro just obliterated him this entire match. And yeah, again, you got to make sure that you actually use your Fusion Strike energies to power up attackers in this matchup. The Fusion Strike energies are great for getting around Spiritomb, but when you're not playing against Spiritomb, you can use them to attack with your Pokemon. But anyways, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe and all that good stuff. And it's really important for the YouTube algorithm. We will see you guys next time for round 3.